All right, it's that time again. Time for another midweek video. Midweek video number 16, wet weather fire starters that actually work. Oh, and we're going to throw in some primitive ones as well. Let's get to it. So it rained last night and early this morning as well, and it's going to rain off and on all day. Far too often we see the glamorization of survival and bushcraft. People are out there, light a fire, and it works first time every time, and everything's outstanding AF, and you're like, oh, look at that, I made fire. You got a 10-foot flame coming off there, and everything is badass and good in the hood. However, the reality is, most times, everything's wet. Wood's wet or damp. Tinder sources could be soaking wet. What do I use? Now, there's plenty of store-bought solutions. I'm talking about out here in the woods, though. Where I live, there's pine trees everywhere. So I'm thinking red pine equals fat wood. The first one I want to show you is a waterproof source all on its own. It's called fat wood, and it's found in red pine. Easy solution for you guys to try this. Go to your store, say Kroger, Stater Brothers, Albertsons. Go down the camping aisle where they have the paper cups and stuff like that. You're going to see like pine logs and fire logs. There's sticks of fat wood. Buy a box, take them home, and try this out. Now, fat wood is typically found in red pine. White pine has a little bit of sap as well. All it is the sap that pools or accumulates in the branches. If you raise your arm long enough, the blood's going to run down to your core. A tree trunk is the same way. The branches come off in an angle, and everything wants to pool down towards the base or the bottom of the tree where it meets the trunk, okay? Cut a piece off, here you go. Now, this stuff right here could be soaking wet. All you got to do is dry it off. The inside's 100% dry. The sap is waterproof, okay? So it's a waterproofing layer inside of this piece of fat wood. All we're going to do is take a knife with a sharp 90-degree spine, or in this case, a Bahco Laplander saw, and we're going to scrape shavings, okay? And you want those shavings to be the size of a baseball. Some people say silver dollars. I think in perfect conditions, where it's 100 degrees outside, everything's dry, a silver dollar is perfect. In wet weather, we want to think of a baseball for a minimum. Now, the fat wood can simply be lit any number of ways, from matches to a lighter or a ferrocerium rod. It's just that smallest spark or that heat will kick it off. So, like I said, think of baseball size in wet weather conditions. It should produce enough flame to get that fire going. Now, one common overlooked thing is duct tape, or in this case Gorilla brand duct tape, but it could be ordinary duct tape. It could be duct tape from a dollar store. It doesn't really matter. The tape is made by these woven fibers that's underneath the glue and the exterior coating there. The trick is you want to go ahead and tear off tiny pieces and create basically a duct tape bird's nest with those exposed fibers. This way they can take a spark, say from a ferrocerium rod, or a match, or even a lighter. Once it's lit, the tape melts on itself, and once you fold the pieces over on top of it, it kind of congeals into this big molten mess that will burn for minutes. So the real trick is you want molten pieces of this rod to land on the tape, not just rain sparks. The molten pieces to melt through the tape and ignite those fibers. So let's give it a shot. And there we go, so it's just like that. You want to turn this a little bit to go ahead and ignite that tape. That's a safe bet right there that we're probably out of the woods. Now it's all going to collapse down and melt on itself. So this method right here, it can burn for several minutes. And all you got to do is just move it around a little bit and it kicks it right back up again. I mean, there's like a sticky napalm substance right here. You could also take this and transfer it to another campfire somewhere else, and you see that moving it around, it's still going to burn. So there's a lot of benefits to this, and someone's going to say, well, you're burning plastic, you're going to get sick. Think of the context. Death out in the woods from hypothermia, mosquitoes get all bit up, can't signal for rescue, or worry about getting sick. Pick your poison. But again, this is a viable source when all else fails and all your tinder is wet. But here's the problem. Not everybody has access to fatwood. You can buy the store-bought fatwood, but not everyone can go out to the woods and find fatwood where you live, in the United States or in the world. But everyone, I'm willing to bet, has a dollar store, Dollar General, Family Dollar, where you can get cheap duct tape and get the result that I just showed. So that, to me, carrying something like that in your kit for simple repairs, but at worst case, some type of emergency fire starter, especially in the rain or damp weather, it's worth its weight in gold. So why not carry it? Now, I promised you a primitive method as well. I touched on this in my previous video, last week's video, okay? Primitive fire starting, I think of bow drill, hand drill. You're going to produce an ember using friction, okay, or a bow. You're heating the wood up with a wood powder to 800 degrees Fahrenheit, and it ignites basically a small campfire. You then transfer that to a tinder bundle or a bird's nest, and then you blow it in the flame, right? You've seen me do it a million times. What if the tinder is wet and you can't do that? So let's combine some of these techniques that we just talked about and show that you can do the exact same thing using primitive fire. Taking our large bow drill ember, I'm going to go ahead and place it gently into my fatwoods bird's nest here. And now we're going to slowly add some oxygen to this. Just like that. So basically all you've done right there is taken a small bow drill ember and put it into your fat wood bird's nest and actually create a larger ember with enough heat to where it bursts into flame just like that. So it's something to think about during wet weather. It's often not taught anywhere, but it's something that requires a lot of practice. Truth be told, prior to this video and last week's video, it took me about 3 tries to get it dialed in, and the trick is once you get it going, put small drier shavings up on top of that fat wood. That sap's going to kind of melt into it, and once it ignites, you'll see that flame, you'll hear it get louder and louder, and then it's just going to burst. So something to think about, give it a shot. Worst case, if everything is wet, the fat wood can be wiped off and it's dry. So it is what it is. Now inside my video description box, you're going to go ahead and see my Etsy store. We're fully stocked. We have Corporal's Corner Frontier Forged Strikers, we have forged forks, and we have forged frog gigs along with hat patches and bag patches and universal patches. Here's an example of one of my strikers. Rain and sparks all day. 1095 carbon steel, 1/4 inch thick, 3 inches in length. Check these bad boys out. With that, all the gear in my videos can be found in 2 places. One, my Amazon influencer page, which is fully stocked by the way, and 2, my Etsy page. Both links are found inside my description box. Now please do me that favor, hit that like and subscribe button, then ring that notification bell. Once you ring that bell, please select all notifications. And as always, thank you for your comments, views, and support. Thanks for watching. Get out in the field, have some fun, I'm going to catch you next time.